Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's training. Well, hey, Gary, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, good.
And I see we've got lots of folks logging in, and I wanted to welcome everybody. We're going to start in like 1 minute, and we wanted to make sure all of our technology worked. Um, If your screen is blurry or you can't see us, please hit that reconnect button at the top there. You're going to find sometimes the video might get a little blurry from time to time. Gary and I will be turning it on and off and periodically having all the screen on. In addition to that, utilize that chat that you see. I see you guys already got the hang of that chat section. Please try to use it for constructive questions to move the conversation forward. Try not to make fun of Gary too much in there. It really does hurt his feelings and stuff
Oh,
like that.
now you just had to do that. Now they're just going to make fun of me. But no, in reality, what we want you to use that chat section for right now is just to make sure that you know how to use it. But as we go through the presentation, ask questions, clarifying questions about, well, gosh, you just said this. What about that? Or can you explain that further? Because we'll get to Q&A at the very end. So we want you to engage with us and interact with really constructive questions during the presentation.
All right, Gary. Well, let's kick this bad boy off with a little poll. What do you say?
Let's kick it off with a big poll.
A big poll. All right. I've got a poll that I want to pop up for you guys. And actually, the reason why Gary and I do this is so that we can tailor today's presentation that we've prepared in advance for you guys, though, based on what you want to get the most out of today. So which of the following things would you is most important to you today? And you can just respond to the little poll feature that you'll see on your screen there. The first one is, hey, I want to know how to get listings. The second one is how to get generate leads. Perhaps you're here, and the most important thing is because you want some innovative marketing to get more customers, or perhaps you're just looking at some low cost but effective marketing methods, right? So just tell us where your emphasis is. And funny, I'm looking at the poll right now, Gary, and I think for the first time ever, it's doing the pattern that it's doing. I don't think I've ever seen this pattern in a poll before, which is really interesting. But you know what? We'll let people answer that, and we're just going to.
Hey, you can't skew it, Chris. You can't give them a tip. Yeah.
I need to, that's such an interesting poll result. I can't take a screenshot of it. I was going to take a screenshot of it, try to save it. Maybe you can grab a screenshot of that. I want to remember that because this is the first time I've ever seen that. With that, we're going to let you guys continue to answer while we just let you know who we are and what we're going to be talking about. So today, our goal is to give you guys a 2020 marketing calendar to consistently bring in qualified leads. I think, Gary, what's most important is I want to give everybody a system today. You know what I mean?
Like, it's not just about a calendar, right? It's a marketing system or like full system and strategy.
Well, I think it's important to have a system in place to respond to opportunities, because when you have a system in place, you can respond to those opportunities more consistently. In fact, what you do is you produce opportunities more consistently, if that makes sense when it comes to marketing. And so, and for those of you who hate picking up the phone, don't worry, we're not going to make you cold call anybody. We're not going to make you pick up the phone.
A few years ago, if you were on this and we were training you, I would have said the first thing you got to do is pick up that phone, but that has changed. We're going to share with you some phone call free prospecting and lead generation, which is pretty awesome.
Well, I think the problem that we see today is that the robocallers have killed the telephone call. You know what I mean?
Chris, let me ask you this. Do you answer your phone anymore unless it's somebody that you already know?
I mean, I don't answer it when you call me.
I know you don't. And I just wanted to share that with you. I was leading you down that path that it hurts my feelings. But with all of that, if this is the first time you've ever joined us, let us introduce ourselves real quick. I'm just going to introduce myself very quickly and then pass it off to Chris, because this is the guy we're here to learn from today. My name is Gary Kreth. I'm a listing expert agent. I've been selling real estate for almost 23 years now. I have focused almost my entire career on listings because I knew that would leverage me to get clients as buyers. In the peak of my career, before Chris and I started Paperless Agent and started doing this with you, I was going on 6 listing appointments every single week and carrying about 50 active or pending listings at a time. And I could not have done that without the system that Chris is here to share with you today. He's our primary educator today. He's going to be doing a majority of the education and sharing with you. So with that, Chris, who be you?
Okay, well, thanks, Gary. Who be me? I'm a real estate digital marketer. I manage social media accounts with over 200,000 connections and work to generate about over 5,000 leads every single month across the different businesses that we have. And here's what's important to you guys and what's important for you to know is that Gary and I work together in Austin, Texas to market, sell homes, work with buyers. And so everything we're going to share with you today, all the stuff that I'm going to share with you with our 2020 marketing calendar, it's based on stuff that we do, right? Or that we've recently done. And so I'm excited to share the strategies with you. I'm excited to share the systems with you. And today's system that we're going to share with you is our marketing calendar. There are three parts to this, or three steps to this, and we're going to dive into each one of these. But here's what our marketing calendar consists of. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to send a re-engagement letter to everybody that you know. Okay, so that's going to be step one, is you're going to send this re-engagement letter to everybody that you know. Good news, if you're worried about it, don't worry. I'm going to show you an engagement letter. So don't worry if you're like,
what's the exact one that we used?
I'm going to show you the exact one that we use. In fact, Gary had to, it's called re-engagement for a reason. I know, I'm not going to spill the beans. I'm going to say it's called re-engagement for a reason. And Gary had an opportunity to re-engage not too long ago. And we'll tell you what happened there. But that's the first part. The next thing is that our marketing calendar consists of 5 steps that you repeat every single month. So after you send out this re-engagement letter, every month you're just going to repeat 5 simple marketing steps or 5 simple marketing activities that I know you guys can do. This is something that transcends all levels of experience. I don't care if you're a new agent. I don't care if you've been selling real estate for 40 years. The 5 steps I'm going to share with you, I know you can do. And then each month, you're going to change the theme or the topic of the marketing, all right? So each month, in step 2, we're going to be sending marketing out, and we're going to do that in 5 steps that I'm going to show you guys. We're going to show you real examples of recent things that we've sent out. And then each month, as we repeat those 5 steps, here's what's going to happen. We're going to change the topic of the marketing. We're going to change the theme of the marketing. And I'm going to show you a number of different examples. In fact, I'm going to give you a whole calendar of like, here's what you can do in 2020. All right. Now, it's really important to understand why we're going to do this and why I'm going to share with you why it works so effectively.
But before that, I wanted to share the poll.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I know you did. You went straight into like, let me give you everything I got. But we got to start with the poll first.
Okay, give it to us.
All right. So 27% want to talk about how to get listings, 19% how to generate leads, 27% innovative marketing, and 27% low cost but effective marketing methods. So what I love about this, Chris, is it's a very even level playing field of what people want. And so
the leads is a little bit lower, which ironically today is probably, I didn't intend on this. There's definitely a lot of lead generation, but today the emphasis is definitely you're going to see specific at the end of today's presentation. I'm going to give you some advanced strategies for getting listings. So stay tuned for those. Also, when it comes to innovative marketing, you're going to see we're using some of the newer, more innovative, low-cost tools that are available to us. And so you know what? I'm just going to dive right in. All right. So before I give you guys show you the engagement letter, re-engagement letter, before we go into the 5 steps and before I give you the 2020 calendar of the different topics or themes to do, I want to show and hopefully convince you that this is a system that you need to have and that you're not doing adequately yet. Right. So that's a concern that I have, is that you might look at this and say, well, I think I'm doing okay in this area. But I'm going to hopefully convince you that it's not being done adequately yet. And here's what and here's why. So if you ever look at, according to the National Association of Realtors, where does business actually come from? Like, what are the true sources of business? And I just pulled these numbers for sellers, right? So for sellers, how do they choose their real estate agent, or how do they find the real estate agent? The numbers are very similar if you if it's a buyer. But, a lot of times people think something like Facebook is a source of business, or, they might think like Google is a source of business. And actually, those are tools that we use that we direct at sources of business. Does that make sense? Right? So there are sources of business, and then we have tools that we use that we can direct at those sources of business to cultivate it. Well, and it's always the same, right? So the largest sources of business are people who are referred to you or recommended to you or from word of mouth or who know you personally, right? That's the largest single slice of the pie. And then 24% of the clients are repeat customers. They're people that you've worked with in the past. And so here's why this is such a big deal, is that when you look at where the business comes from, the lion's share is coming from these areas right here. I mean, it's almost 70% of it. And this is just like, for many of you, it's not, you haven't really done anything to produce this, right? This is based on what the consumer is saying. This is how we found our real estate professional, right? That means this is the true sources. And if we're not creating systems, if we're not creating campaigns, if we're not designing action around focusing what we do around this source of business, I'm telling you, we're not getting enough of it, right? We're not.
And I think that what this helps us do is it helps us block out the noise that the industry is pounding us with. Like, you got to go buy these online leads. You got to go do this. You got to go spend tons of money doing this, which is fine. But if you haven't nailed your system for generating those referred and known personally and the repeat clients, then what are you doing? I think that's the whole point, is like, and I had this aha, because I came to you and I'm like, dude, we got to go buy these leads here. We got to go do this. We got to do this lead generation. And that's when, well, we'll get to this in a minute, but that's when you said, are you sending this stuff out consistently to our list?
Well, and I think what's important is for us to say, all right, now that we recognize, well, let's ask this question. Where mechanically speaking, where do referred or recommended clients come from? Mechanically speaking, how do people we personally know work with us? Mechanically speaking, how do we get repeat clients? And so from a mechanical standpoint, the actual source for us is our contacts and connections. Right. Yes. So our contacts and connections, it's the people who know us or the people that we know. These are the sources of this business. Now, what's really important for us to do now is to not use the old school way of trying to connect with our contacts and connections, but to use the new tools available to us using the old school principles.
So what's the old school way though, Chris?
The old school way might be to go door knock on these folks. The old school way might be to phone call these people. The old school way the old school way is to do nothing and just hope that this business happens, to be honest with you. That's the old school way, right? The old school way is about cold calling people you don't know to get business, and I'm neglecting these folks over here. But the new way of doing this is to use tools, right? An old school way might be just sending out emails to these folks, right?
Or just printing out letters and sending them out in the mail, or postcards,
Right. So the new way is going to utilize social media. The new way is going to utilize instant messaging tools, right? So the new way actually is going to take an integrated approach. I'm not saying things like making calls or sending emails or printing things out and sending it to these folks is not going to work. I'm saying you have to be additive to it. You got to be where they're at. And so that's why we have a system in place, right? So, and on the system that I'm going to share with you guys today is based on focusing on that source of contacts and connections, and then doing 5 steps, right? These 5 steps, we're going to get into it. We got to do all 5 of these steps, and we got to do these 5 steps well. But when we do these 5 steps and we direct these marketing activities every single month to our contacts and connections, here's what happens. We get recommendations, we get referrals, we get business from our sphere of influence. People who know us are going to start working with us. We get repeat clients, and get this, we get increased reputation. Why does increased reputation matter? Increased reputation matters because according to the National Association of Realtors, according to, the most important factor for home sellers in choosing their real estate professional is the agent's reputation. All right. That's a really big deal. I mean, you might think, well, how big a deal is it? Especially if I put them in the home in the first place. Let's say you worked with a buyer to put them in the home. You would assume that they would work with you again, right, Gary?
That's the way I've always operated, Chris, is I offer this incredible service. I stay in touch with them during the transaction. And then I just assume that after the transaction, they're just going to send me business. Or if they ever need my help again, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to pick up their phone and they're going to call me and say, Gary, I need to sell the house.
Right. So the most important factor for sellers in choosing a real estate agent is the reputation. And here's why. Because 76% of the time, they don't hire us, the people who put them in the home in the first place. That should that should shake you a little bit, right? Like if 76% of the time, the same people we put that in the home who said they loved us and so on and so forth, they go somewhere else. That's why having a very powerful reputation is important. But it is also why this system that I'm sharing with you is so important. I mean, you think of this. This system is important just for staying in touch with people that you know. Let's say you knew 100 people, Gary. Well, statistically speaking, 10 of those 100 people are going to move. Also, according to the National Association of Realtors, everybody who moves, they are going to produce 2 recommendations and referrals. So
Okay.
of those 10 people, all of a sudden you're looking at 30 potential sales if you only know 100 people. But most of
Right.
us know more than 100 people. Tools like
Well,
social
gosh,
media,
yeah.
social media makes it to where we know like 200 or 300 people.
I think that the average statistic of the number of people that we know is about 325.
Yeah, so let's say it's 300. You're looking at, between 60 and 90 potential deals just through those contacts and connections.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
if we just focus on contacts and connections, we will be plenty busy. Now, the problem is most of us don't understand the mechanics, right? We don't understand the mechanics of how do I cultivate that business through my contacts and connections. What do I need to send out? What do I need to do? And that's why what we're going to show you is what re-engagement letter to send out, right? So you engage people, and then you're going to repeat 5 marketing steps every single month, right? So that's going to do the heavy lifting of producing that. And then you repeat these, you're going to repeat those 5 steps every month with a new theme or topic. And so let's dive into the nitty gritty, right? So I talked about we're going to send out where there's 3 things that we're going to do. Do you recall what they are, Gary? They're to send out the re-engagement letter.
Well, which we have a story to talk about there. Yes.
We will.
So,
We're going to do the 5 essential marketing activities every single month. And then we're
going to change the theme or topic every month and stay in touch with people consistently.
Yes. Now,
Did I nail that? Did I nail the last one, Chris?
you did it, man.
I'm paying attention, man. Aren't you proud of me?
All right. Here's the thing. I know you can't read this. The screen is blurry. Don't worry. I'm going to blow up the size of the screen in just a moment. So don't worry. But the re-engagement letter format consists of 3 different parts. All right. The engagement letter. And this is just an email. This is an email that you send out to people. Now, chances are, you know a few hundred people and you've not been in communication with them consistently. So you can't just roll up on them and be sending them all this marketing without some kind of an explanation. And so we're going to re-engage them and set some context on how and what we're going to do in terms of communication. Now, and there's 3 parts. I'll kind of like scan through the one this is actually a real one that I wrote that Gary sent out, and we'll tell you what happened as a result of that. But there are 3 parts to it. The first one is you got to apologize, because chances are you're sending this out to a bunch of people and you haven't been that consistent in communicating. Or perhaps you've not been consistent in communicating in a real estate related context, because remember, we want them to see us with our real estate hat on. We want them to see us as real estate professionals, right? So first thing we want to do is apologize. I actually learned this from one of my mentors, Brian Buffini, who I worked with for 11 years. And he used to always talk about sending out like this confession letter. So I modified this based on the stuff that I learned from him, which was, you just say, hey, let me read this. Gary, you're entitled to a confession from me. I haven't stayed in as close contact as I would have liked. Okay. By the way, this is my fault. So you want to apologize for not communicating on a regular basis. And
you're taking responsibility for this. And then you shift it in a minute. Okay, keep going.
So, you say, hey, I recently committed to staying in touch with everybody. Okay, that's hey, I'm recommitting to staying in touch with everybody. And you might be saying, what does this have to do with me? Well, to better take care of you in the future, and in hope of earning your recommendations, right? I'm going to just stay in touch. And so that's what I'm hoping to have take place. And I don't want anything from you. I'm just hoping to better take care of you and earn more of your business. So that's part 1, is you apologize. Part 2 is to give value. All right. Part 2 of this re-engagement letter process is to give value, because you apologize and then you give them something, right? Now you could give them a lot of stuff. What we like to do is give informational value. I like to provide informational value because what that does is gets them to see us as real estate experts. And that's really important. And we'll build on that concept later on. So, my first order of business is to take better care of you, is provide some tools, resources, and real estate tips from time to time. And here's my first resource for you, my firm's newly updated blog with tips and videos. Click here to get it. You'll find my tips answering commonly questions about real estate, such as, is the Austin real estate market overpriced? What should be included in making an offer on a home? How should I get my home ready for sale, amongst many others? And I hope you find them useful and look forward to staying in touch. Love, Gary. And now there's a third part to this re-engagement letter. So the first one, was to apologize. The second one was to give value. The third one is what we refer to as the delayed offer.
What the heck is a delayed offer? Like, this is the same screenshot you just shared. So what's a delayed offer?
Don't ask for anything.
Oh, Chris, you shared this with me. I think when you and I first started working together in 2013, you said there's this marketing principle of give, and then you can ask.
Yeah, this
is that what this is?
Give, ask. Give, ask. What you're doing is you're giving first, because the problem with saying, oh, hey, by the way, if you're thinking of moving, or hey, by the way, if you know someone who's thinking of moving, you don't do that here, because people are going to immediately look at that and see, Gary's just all about business. He don't care about me. That's what they're going to say in their mind, right? They're
so like, Gary don't care. I actually get email marketing pieces from people I haven't heard from in like years, and they start asking for business, and I'm like, that's really
all
entitled.
about the process. It's all about the process. It's fine. You just need the right context. I mean, it's like when you meet somebody new, there's like a normal human interaction would be like, hey, what's your name? And then you shake hands and, oh, what's your name? If you don't ask the other person their name, they're going to be like, what the heck's wrong with this person not asking me my name? I asked them my name, and then you could be talking to them and they can't hear a word you're saying because they're like, why didn't you ask me what my name is? And you might be like, well, you're wearing a name badge. I didn't need to, but still,
Well, let's actually talk about how this works.
Yes,
because this is not just philosophy. This is not just a good idea. This is something that we actually put into process.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So this engagement letter is the first thing that you're going to send out. Before we do any of the other stuff that we're talking about, you send this out. Now, here's something unlikely. So was it last August? When was it that we So last August, I think it was, last summer, not this past summer, but 2018 summer.
2018, right? Like June or July or something like that.
I was talking. Gary and I were talking, and I was like, "Yo, how's the database doing? How's our contacts? How's our list? How's our contacts and connections going? And meaning, how's our communication with our contacts and connections going?" And Gary was like, "Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. Gary's not a very good liar, so I was like, it's good. When's the last time you sent something out? Oh."
I may have missed a month or 4 or 5,
6 months, 7 months, a long time had gone by. Several months had gone by.
And I told Chris, I said, no problem. I'll get right back on top of it. I'm going to send everybody that MVP, the marketing value program. I'm going to send it out to him this week. And he's like, you can't do that, dude.
No. We have to re-engage, right? We have to re-engage. And so I put this together, right? And it's like, you got to send this out. And then he sent it out. Now, something happened that I think is atypical, but if you haven't communicated with your contacts or connections in a long time, then this might be common, right? So what happened for you?
Well, so I actually started getting emails immediately afterwards. And what it turned into is $3.2 million in production just out of that one email, which for me equated to $96,000 in gross commission. So, I mean, that right there nailed it.
So Dave Capel says this is right out of the Buffini playbook. That's exactly where I learned this specific letter from.
Well, yeah,
right?
I worked with Brian for 11 years.
I worked for 11 years and oversaw the consumer marketing. And so that is exactly right out of it. Now, where we differ is in the process of what we do, right? So what we do, the next part then on the marketing calendar is repeating these 5 steps. And what you're going to find is this is where the 5 steps start to differ because we're all about utilizing the new technology and tools, right? I want you utilizing tools like Facebook. I want you utilizing tools like video. I want you utilizing tools like instant messaging. And so we're going to incorporate that in sending out information and informational value. And let me show you exactly how we do it. So after we send that engagement letter out, what we can do is every single month, we're going to repeat these 5 steps, right? So the 5 steps are this, and this is where you want to start taking some notes because we're going to get into the nitty gritty here. So the first step is we want to publish useful real estate information.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to publish useful real estate information, and on your screen here, you can see a blog, right? So a blog is a great way to be able to provide and publish useful real estate information. Now, something really important about sharing a blog or sharing a video, for example, is that the information in and of itself is not going to get you tons of customers, right? What we're going to see is that the purpose of it is to provide informational value, right? So we want to have this the blog or this sending this useful information out is the whole purpose. The whole reason we do this is to provide informational value, which gives us a reason to do outreach. So we're going to use tools like social media. We're going to use tools like instant messaging to do outreach. But here's the thing, it is far easier for you to communicate this value, this informational value, than for you to use those tools to boast about or brag about yourself, right? The last thing you want to do is be messaging somebody just for the sole purpose to see if they've got some business for you, right? Like that's not a fun way to interact with folks. And I'm sure most of you don't do that. But
Well,
if you have
I think that's the whole reason that we don't pick up the phone and we don't call people, because it feels like we're just begging for business.
Right.
Email, I mean, this is no different.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put this blog post together, and it is on real estate information. There's a reason why it's real estate information and not the your favorite recipe card, a card with your favorite recipe, or the sports schedule on it. It's informational value about real estate because we want people to see you. We want people to see you as a real estate authority. We want people to see you as having credibility. We want people to see you as a real estate expert. And this is going to seriously bolster your online reputation, because when people search for you, which they inevitably do, when they go and search for you online, because it's not like the old days where people passed around business cards and stuff, people will refer and recommend you and say, hey, you got to work with Gary. Oh yeah, just look him up online. It's Gary Kreth. Just look him up online. And then they Google you, and then they start clicking all the links, and they're either going to see stuff that builds up your reputation in their mind, or they're going to see stuff that tears it down. So we want to put this out on a consistent basis. But publishing this useful real estate information on itself does nothing. So many of you may have tried blogging, for example, and it didn't work. It didn't do anything. And there's a reason why, because blogging in and of itself is not going to do any good for you. All right. You got to do the next step, which is to start doing the outreach. And we've got several steps that we're going to do for outreach, right? The first thing is we want to email everybody that we know a little synopsis of that blog post, and then you insert a link to that blog post, and insert the link to that blog post and put it in the email, right? So many of you will have the first step of gathering up your contact information, getting it out of your phone, getting it out of Gmail, and getting it all the different places and putting it somewhere. But it's totally worth doing. And then you just email everybody, all your contacts, all your connections, current and past clients. Send it to everybody that you know. Right? You send this out to everybody that you know. And so in this example, it was based on that previous blog post on what's going to happen in the market. And this one addresses the question, what could a recession mean for real estate? And so I'm sure a lot of you have also done some email. Now, here's the thing. When you send emails out, are you providing informational value? What happens here is it's firmly positioning you to every recipient that you know what the heck you're talking about, because you're always talking about real estate related stuff. Okay. Now, I realize that you probably don't have contact information for everybody that you know. And that's why only publishing a blog and only sending out an email isn't sufficient. It's not enough, right? It's not enough to get the job done. Yes, Gary. I can't hear you, Gary. Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, what's the size of our database? Like 485 people or something like that?
Last time I looked, it was like 467, but I know, new ones get added all the time, so it's probably in that neighborhood.
But then combined, you and I with friends on Facebook is well over 5,000. So that's exactly what you're talking about. It's like there's so many more people out there that we know through social media that we don't have all their contact information to send them these emails.
Yes. So we don't have the contact information because we're interacting online. So a really powerful way for you to show up is using tools like social media, but not just posting on social media. And although I think there's a lot of value, and in fact, we'll talk about that in momentarily, but in step 3, what we're going to do is we're going to shoot a 1-minute video, just a short video, just using your phone. And we're going to discuss the highlights from that blog post, just the bullet points. We're going to post that 1-minute video on our Facebook business page, and then we're going to promote it using Facebook ads to everybody that we know. And you can even share it from your Facebook business page onto your personal profile. I think the best way for me to be able to show you guys what this looks like is to play an actual video.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
so
You
I've
got that
got
teed up?
I have this same video. It's a minute and 27 seconds, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play a portion of this video, and let's see what it looks like. Because I think a lot of you might be scared of doing video, but let's take a look at what Gary did just using his phone out of the comfort of his own home. Let's take a look at this.
Hey, this is Gary Kreth with Kreth Partners here at Cooper Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm getting a lot of questions, and here's why. The market is changing, and boy, it's changing fast. And there's a myriad of reasons why it's changing. There's interest rates are increasing. There's some political changes going on in our country. There's just a lot going on. But what's most important is how is it affecting you and what you're doing with your real estate? So here's the thing. If you would like a free, detailed, beautiful, very specific, analytical, awesome report about what the values are doing with your specific home and your neighborhood, all you need to do is message me your address and your email address, and I'll shoot one to you for free. So if you're curious about what's going on in the marketplace, if you're curious about what's going on with your home specifically, or if you're actually...
And we're back. All right, guys. So it's that easy. Like literally, you talk about the points in the blog post and you put it out there. Now, you might be wondering, yeah, but does that really work? There's a reason why we're doing a short video. It's because the Facebook algorithm absolutely loves that type of information. And get this, little fast fact for you: firms using video get 6 times more leads than those that don't. And here's probably one of the reasons why, is video gets a tremendous response and reaction from folks. In this particular video, you see that got in front of 893 people, 723 people watching a portion of that video, 85 people clicking on it to get more information. So you see, those are some really good results. And here's the thing. I mentioned that what we're going to do is we're going to shoot that 1-minute video. We're going to post it onto Facebook. And then we're going to promote that post. We're going to promote that video using Facebook ads. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. We talked about using low-cost marketing methods. To get those types of results, we spent $2.93 on Facebook over a period of 3 days. Okay, so $1 a day. We spent $1 a day to be able to get those types, that type of response. And very important to be able to reach more than just people you have an email address for, is you want to reach everybody who's on Facebook. By the way, everybody's on Facebook, which leads us to step 4, right? So we're doing these are part of the 5 steps that we repeat every month. Step 4 is that we're going to post this useful information onto social media, doing a traditional real estate post. So you can just post it on your business page. You can share it from your business page onto your personal profile if you choose, as well as any other social media accounts that you're using, if you're using Instagram, Pinterest, so on and so forth. And then step 5 is to do individual messaging and follow-up using instant messaging tools like Facebook Messenger. You could also use tools like text messaging if you want, but it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to send anything. All you have to do is use this to check in. And the reason why this is powerful is because when you're doing all of the other marketing, here's what happens. You're doing steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're publishing that blog, that useful information. You are sending an email out. You're doing a video. You're sending this out on social. Everybody, those contacts and connections that everyone's seeing a portion of it. And so what happens is when they see you, they think of real estate. When they think of you, real estate, they think of you, right? So when they think of you, they think of real estate. When they think of real estate, they think of you. And what happens is when we send them an instant message, it's going to show them, your name's going to show up, and it's just saying, hey, how's it going? What's going to happen, because they've been seeing all the other stuff. They're going to say you'll be top of mind. This is how we achieve awareness. This is how we achieve being top of mind with all of those contacts and connections, so that when we communicate with them, they immediately think of real estate. And if they have a real estate need or something they want to take action on, or they've talked to somebody recently, it immediately comes to mind. And usually, well, they're going to respond to you very positively. In fact, that's what happened to you, Gary. Tell us about that.
Well, it is very, this is where I think historically I would tell everybody, you got to pick up the phone and call. And Chris asked me one time, he's like, when was the last time you called everybody in the database? And I'm like, I don't know. And so he said, dude, you got to just use Facebook Messenger. And so what I did is I just wrote a past client of mine. His name is Chris M. I'm not going to give you his last name. I said, hey, Chris, we've not spoken in a while, and I want to check in, see how things are going. He responded very quickly. And that's the thing. It's like when you see something pop up in your inbox in Facebook, you respond. He responded. He said, man, I was just thinking about you. And then I responded and said, well, how can I help? And so this is it, you get instant reaction instead of waiting for people to call you back after the voicemails that you leave. And by the way, they may or may not even listen to your voicemail anymore. And more than likely, they're not calling you back. I know, Chris, for one, they're not answering the phone. And they don't call back. But
you know what? 90%
using this medium, what's that?
90%.
90% of people respond on Facebook Messenger.
90% of these of Facebook Messenger messages are opened. 90%. They're opened and read. Right. So
and I would say maybe 20% of my voicemail ever gets listened to. So I mean, that's the power of what Chris is talking about.
Well, that's why these are the 5 steps. It's pretty simple. The only hard part is getting the information. But here's what happens. And in fact, we provide we have a club, and we give our members the marketing, the blog posts, and all that kind of stuff to send out. Here's why I know it works. It doesn't just work for us, right? It also works for our members, for our clients. And here's Teresa. And she tells us she's thanking Jordan, who's on our team, who oversees the creation of all the marketing that we provide for our members. She says, thanks, Jordan, for another great campaign. I just sent that email out to my contacts again and had a great open rate. But not only that, within 20 minutes of sending it, received a listing appointment request. And so that is a testament to doing these 5 steps and doing them consistently and getting that business, right? Getting those referrals, those recommendations, getting the word of mouth, getting the the business from the sphere, getting the reputation, increased reputation by just doing this on a consistent basis. But here's the thing, every single month, we got to change the topic. So that topic that we did in that first example had something to do about what's happening in the market, right? It was like national stats or something like that. And so what we're going to do is modify the topic. We're still going to repeat those 5 steps. We're still going to publish that blog. We're still going to send the email out. We're still going to shoot a 1-minute video and promote that on Facebook. We're still going to put a traditional post on social media, and then we're going to do the individual messaging follow-up. We're still going to do all 5 of those steps, but we just change the topic out every single month, right? So here's 5 steps to finding your next home. Here's another, and so there's the blog post, there's the social media post. Here's another one on serious about selling, 5 steps to make your home the best on the block. And there is the social media post for that. So we talk about all sorts of a broad range of topics. Could be related to buying, could be related to selling, might be real estate investing, which is actually the next one. What's the best use of your investment property, or what's the best use of your potential real estate investment property? So this one talks about the differences between a short-term rental, aka a vacation rental, versus doing more of a traditional real estate investment. And so again, what this does is this sets us up as the people. We create the context for a conversation consistently, and they're always seeing this real estate related information from us, by us, because we're repeating those 5 steps every single month. And that achieves this, what we call in marketing, this level of omnipresence, right? So we're omnipresent because wherever they go throughout the course of the month, they're going to bump into us online. They're just going to bump into us. And so that when they have a conversation with somebody that they know who's thinking of moving, we immediately become top of mind. They cannot help it. It just happens. So when we talk about the mechanics of it, the mechanics is that we do this marketing and we do this not just through one mode, right? So doing single mode marketing is very ineffective and it's very expensive. If all I were to do, for example, is to do direct mail into an area, it would be, and you guys know this, it's really expensive to blanket an area consistently with direct mail. And if it was the only thing that I was doing and not like expanding the different forms of marketing that I'm using, it just gets very expensive, right? And it's not, for most of us, it's not something we can maintain, but rather we're using this concept of modality with our marketing, because we're repeating these 5 steps, all these different ways of communication. We achieve multiple modalities, and so we can actually say the same message throughout the course of the month, and they hear it, and it's, instead of hearing it like it's being repeated, like getting the same email over and over and over again, it's just, there's subtle reminders. Oh, I saw that email. Oh yeah, I saw that on social media. Oh, I saw Gary's video. And so when it matters to us, when it matters to them, when they're ready to act on that information, we are already they already have the predisposition to contact us. Does that make sense, Gary? Like we're creating this predisposition of trust. We're creating the sense that we're competent. We're creating the sense that we're everywhere doing everything. And we are by nature the person who they're going to reach out to.
Yeah, it builds trust with them, and it helps you stay top of mind. So when they're ready to refer somebody, or they think of buying or selling real estate themselves, or they hear the words real estate, they start thinking of you. But you got to do this consistently. And Chris, what do we have here for everybody?
So this is a place you probably want to grab a screenshot. What I did is I took 12 months of the different topics that we've used and plugged it into a calendar. So January, what's ahead for real estate this year? That's a market stats one. Top design trends in February, home design trends. March is what buyers will pay for homes now, right? So understanding how to assess a home's value. April is 10 myths that trip up first-time buyers. May is top 6 home organization upgrades. June is make your home look the best on the block. July is will your remodeling project pay off. August is the 5-step strategy for downsizing your home. September, national housing market snapshot. We tend to do that one at least. We try to do that 2-3 times a year. October is the homeowner's insurance guide. November, 5 steps to finding your next home. And December is the real estate investment guide. So take a screenshot of that. Those are the different topics that you could do. Now, I mentioned that we have a club, and we actually provide these marketing materials every single month, so all of our members can do those 5 steps, and it drastically reduces the amount of time, because the hard part is always producing that content. So we give a new marketing campaign every month for our members. We give them the blog posts, we give them marketing emails, social media posts, templates, and the scripts, and a whole lot more. We'll talk more about that later if that's something that you're interested in. But what this really does is it solves the problem of needing that content to send out on a consistent basis, so that you can repeat those 5 steps every single month. And I saw somebody was trying to take a screenshot, so I'm going to go back to that calendar, give you a couple seconds to take that screenshot if you can.
Yeah, and if you can't take a screenshot, pull out your phone, take a picture, do something.
And basically what we do through our membership is we give you all the content that you're going to need to repeat those 5 steps every single month, with all these different themes. All right. So I think this is the calendar that you want to utilize, and we can make it easy for you. So our members can probably spend an average of around 3 hours a month doing their marketing, instead of like 3 hours a week, because the content's all being done for them. And so if you have questions about that, then go ahead and ask them, and we'll see if we can answer those later on during today's presentation. But I want to get to some of the fun and exciting stuff for me to share with you guys, which is the advanced low-cost strategies to increase your return on investment. And so the first of these, and what you're going to see is these are just ways to, they're additive. This is what you can do to either enhance the marketing that you're sending out as part of this 2020 marketing calendar that I shared with you, or these are things that you can just do in addition to. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And I want to stop right here, Chris, and let everybody know. Everybody's like, wait, this isn't live, so they can't see your chat anyway. Of course this is live, Jacqueline. Sathya, yeah.
Jacqueline, I turn the chat on and off, so I don't know how to convince you that we're live. I don't know. I mean, I could do that. I have a Paperless agent shirt under here and be like, yeah. I don't know, Jack. Is there? I think you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to take a moment I hate when people go to the chat section and they're complaining about me and stuff like that. I'm going to go complain about the chat section. I'm going to take my shirt off, bust my muscles out. Just kidding. I'm having fun with you guys. So hopefully that chuckled you up a little bit. But seriously, try to use that chat section for constructive stuff, because I want to be able to make sure that everybody here gets the best out of what we have to share today. One of the things I want to show you is how you can shoot really short videos and have a tremendous impact. So this is a video, and by the way, like marketing, I'm really big on marketing listings and marketing real estate. And so I want to show you this real short video, and then I'm going to show you that this literally had a tremendous response when I promoted this on Facebook. I'm going to show you those results. Let me show you the video, because it's literally only 39 seconds. And I know, like, I literally just used my phone. I didn't have any help, like, shooting this video. I forgot the name of. Anyway, let me just play this video, and it'll make a whole lot more sense. Okay, guys.
I love this video, by the way. This is like you nailed this one. You just need to do this at every single one of our listings.
So this is a video to market a listing in a very effective way to improve your marketing. All right, let's take a look. So one of the fun parts of my work is I get to go check out some pretty cool looking real estate. In fact, I'm here in one of the listings that we have on the market, which is actually owned by some famous folks. And I wanted to show you just one of the really cool things about it. If you look up there, you see those wooden beams up there, the ones that are on the way top. Jonathan, where are those from? They're from, like, what are they from?
Chicago Stock Exchange.
From the Chicago Stock Exchange. See, that's something that makes this listing really unique. So if you've got, I don't know, between $5.5 to $6 million and you're interested in buying this home, give us a call. Just kidding, but not really. Call us. Oh, Gary, and then we're back. Let me pop my presentation on. Sorry. Well, that video.
Kevin said that he owns that shirt, so
I forget where I got that shirt from. I think is that a J. Crew shirt, Kevin? I can't remember. Anyway, so real easy. I mean, you guys could see how simple that was. I pointed to a thing. Look, where's that thing from? It's from the Chicago Stock Exchange. Thank you. Right. So that's from one of our listings that sold recently this year. Congratulations to Gary and his brother Jonathan, because that was actually our highest ever sold listing at, I forget what it was, $5 million.
It was just about $5 million.
$5 million. But let's take a look at the results here. 6,200 people reached, 10,000 video views, 308 people clicking to get more information. That's a lot of people engaging this video. Facebook, like I said, the Facebook algorithm totally loves this type of video. But I don't just leave it to the algorithm alone. I put a little budget behind that. But here's the thing. I spent $1 a day for 123 days. I spent $1 a day. I mean, it was getting such good results. I just left it on. Actually, I forgot that I had it running. And so then I ended up spending $123, but it was over 3 months. So it didn't matter. Right. But look at that type of engagement that I got. What I saw was that it was responding so well. And I mean, this is something that you could do. In fact, Gary, like a lot of us go on, the caravans, right? And you could probably, would it be cool? Even if it wasn't your own listing, but it was a listing agent, you're at a caravan, you're like, hey, is it okay if I shoot a video and share this on Facebook of me talking about the highlight feature of the home? Would that be okay?
Oh my gosh, it's awesome. But also tell them what's in it for them. It's like, hey, you know what? I'll even send you the stats of how much exposure your listing got on Facebook. And then they're like, oh, I can share that with my sellers. Yeah, go do that. That's awesome.
So, if do this for your listings, absolutely, right? So I try to shoot video on every one of the listings that we have multiple times, and it's just doing little stuff like this. A very innovative way to get in front of a lot of people. Another way to market a listing is just send an email about it, right? Like, just here's an example, actually, from that same listing from that had the wood from the Chicago Walk Exchange, from the Chicago Stock Exchange, was this lavish listing in West Austin for sale, and it just linked to it. Now, here's a really cool thing about this, by the way. So when I send the email out, so I'm just marketing a listing with this email. And by the way, you could do this in addition to the other marketing that you're doing for your 2020 marketing calendar, is you send an email out marketing one of your listings. By the way, you could totally do this with a recently sold. Say, hey, I totally sold this listing not too long ago. Just wanted to show you the photos of it. Really excited about it. And you do is in the PS section of the email, as you say, PS, if you'd like to see my complete marketing plan that I use to sell this home or that I use to market homes, check it out here. Feel free to share this marketing plan with anybody that you know. And here's what happens. They click on the link, and lo and behold, they see your marketing plan for the home. And this is a tool that totally positions you above the competition. Heck, it does more than just position you above the competition. It actually gives people a reason to hire you, right? This attacks the very heart of why people ask us to discount our fees. This attacks the very heart of why there's all these firms out there trying to diminish our value, because it goes after, here's what we do that's different. This is distinctive value. And I want to suggest that everybody here today, what you do is you really work to create a reason why people should hire you, for you to develop a distinct value proposition. One of the ways that you can do that is to use a property marketing plan and attach it in the marketing that you send out, right? And so that's what we did in this example. Is we market that listing, sent an email out, attached our property marketing plan, and all it is, it's just a list of everything that we're going to do to market that home. Does that make sense? It's just a list of everything that ours is about 10 pages long here. It's just a list of everything we're going to do to market the home. Now, this little device all on its own has tremendous impact. I wish we had enough time to talk about all the different ways in which you're able to use a property marketing plan. But suffice it to say that Gary has used this to beat out like 5 other agents, right?
7, actually, Chris.
7.
This is probably one of the most powerful tools that I use in my toolkit in order to actually secure listing calls, to secure the listing appointment, and to secure the listing in the end. And it just really shares with everybody what I'm going to do differently. And I was going up against 7 other luxury agents in order to win a certain listing in downtown Austin. And I sent this out to them before the listing appointment. I showed up, they had it printed out and on their table. And when I saw that, Chris, I was like, I got this. This is mine. And so it's a really, really powerful tool to have in your toolbox to generate listing leads, to convert them into appointments, and to actually get them to sign on the dotted line when you get there.
So, Mike, no, we don't ask the seller. We ask the listing agent and get permission from the listing agent if we're going to do any kind of marketing around a listing. That is not our own, right? And then, John, we don't create a landing page for this. We're actually just attaching it to the email because we're sending that email out to everybody that we know marketing that listing. All right, you want another? So that's just that's talk about low cost, right? This is low cost. This is effective ways to be able to improve the marketing results that you get. I want to show you another one, completely switching gears now, which is sending out a professional dossier. So do you guys have a resume that you send out on a regular basis? Probably.
Yeah,
not.
the dossiers are for CIA agents.
Well, we don't want to be secret agents. We want to get this thing out to everybody that we know. So a professional dossier is just a synthesis of your resume, and it's created in a user-friendly format. And I'm going to show you how to use this and how to send this out here in just a second. I'm actually going to show you the email that you can use to send this out. But a professional dossier is like a synopsis of what you do. It's got a little bio about yourself. It's got some recent reviews. It's got some recent work that you have on there. It's got ways for people to engage you. And this is a tool for people to use to refer you with. Does that make sense? So if you want to get more recommendations, if you want more word of mouth, if you want for your reputation to increase, then you got to rely on your contacts and connections to help create that word of mouth, right? Like you got to be very proactive in sending information out that is going to proactively create that word of mouth for you. And so a professional dossier is one way to do that. And what it is, it's a tool for somebody who's had a real estate related conversation with somebody that they know to say, you know what, you should talk to Gary. Here's his professional dossier. Here's his dossier. Here's information on Gary. Okay. And you can update this a couple times a year, right? And you can update this a couple times a year, and then you can send it in an email that says something like this. Your friends and family will thank you for this. Have you ever found yourself in a serious bind? You'd be surprised how often I run into people who are trying to sell their home, who are not my clients yet, and found themselves stuck at a standstill or heading for disappointment. Though I'm always happy to help these folks out, they wouldn't be in the situation if they hire the right professional to start with, which is the point of this message. Because you're part of my network, I want to make sure everyone you know won't find themselves in a bind when buying or selling their next home. If someone you know is thinking of buying or selling home, please use my recently updated professional dossier to refer them to somebody they can trust. That's me. They will definitely appreciate you for helping them avoiding a major pitfall when they go to buy or sell their next home. And so again, we attach this professional dossier and we plug that in an email and we send it out, and we can use that as, we can actually replace one of the months from the marketing calendar, or we just do it in addition to. Perhaps you do this twice a year. You send this out in March and then you send it again in October. Whatever it fits for you. Is when you would include this information. And then let's see, I see a bunch of questions asked like, hey, what if you are a new agent and haven't sold anything yet? Actually, I'll defer to Gary. Gary, if you were making a professional dossier and you hadn't sold any bit of real estate, what would you do? You would probably work with your broker, right?
Because I'd go sit down with my broker and I'd say, you know what? I just joined Paperless Agent Marketing Club. I'm going to use their professional dossier. I want to build this out and make me look awesome, but I haven't sold anything yet. But I'm a member of your clan. And so that's where you go meet with your broker and you have them help you build out your professional dossier, and you use their recent work. Because here's the thing, you're part of that brokerage now. And so you should be able to use their assets to build up your dossier, to build up your marketing plan, and make you look like a rock star.
Yes. So you attach your professional dossier in an email like this one, you send it out to everybody that you know. And so, what that does is it's just increasing the ability, or making it easier for people to refer you.
So Angel just said, how do we get these templates? It's perfect that you
good timing. Well, Angel, if there's anybody here who would like to get a copy of the templates and the tools that we've talked about today, I do have a special offer. We have, as a special bonus gift today, we've got the professional dossier template, which makes it easy for people to recommend you while educating your contacts on the services and value that you provide. We also have another special bonus gift, which is the property marketing plan template, also the thing that I was talking about, where you can show your listing prospects how you stand out in the market as a listing expert agent, and attaching that, sending that in the marketing emails that you're sending out is another way to provide value. You can get both of these templates today when you join our marketing club. I mentioned we have a club where we provide folks with marketing materials. Well, when you join our club today, you're going to get both of these templates. You can download them instantly and put them to use right away. And we created our club to help you stand out and get recognized for your expertise using tools, technology, and marketing. Here's what some of our members have had to say about becoming a marketing club member. Cynthia says that Paperless Agent's incredible. I've been a member since 2015. If you're new in real estate, save yourself money and time and go no further. Paperless Agent is the most valuable real estate resources, hands down. Well, thank you. Lisa says, when I was a brand new agent in 2013, I discovered the Paperless Agent. They're the best. I credit much of my six-figure success to them. Well, thanks for that report, Lisa. That's very encouraging. Our club is designed to do several things. One is designed to help you get clients on demand. And when you start getting clients on demand, you have consistent, predictable income. Recall when we were talking about doing having a marketing system that we do consistently to capitalize on those and create those opportunities consistently, that's how we produce that consistent, predictable income. We want to give you systems to replicate leads and save time, right? We want to be able to compress the amount of time it takes to get the results that you want. We want you to get recognized for the great service that you provide, right? We know you work hard to take good care of your clients. And what we want to do is give you the tools, right, to give you the knowledge so that the clients will place a premium on your expertise, so that the client's recommendations, your sphere of influence, will begin to place a premium on your expertise. Here's a report from Teresa. We heard from Teresa earlier about those marketing materials. She says, I want to say a huge thank you to the Paperless Agent team. Thanks, Gary, Jordan, Chris, and the whole team behind the scenes. We actually tripled our income. We sold over $9 million, all because we followed the Paperless Agent plan. And so you might be wondering, what plan is this that Teresa followed to be able to literally triple her income? Well, let me show you. Our club has a 5-step career acceleration plan that all of the tools and knowledge and resources that we provide you with are designed to help you with the following 5 steps. First, we want to help you build a powerful online presence. The second thing we want to do is to market to your base. And that means we got to have a powerful online presence first, because we're going to start marketing to our base and generating interest and generating leads and recommendations, but we got to have a powerful online presence before we want to turn on that marketing mojo. The third thing is we want to start acing every listing appointment and really begin the process of building a listing business, right? And so that's part 3 or step 3 within this career acceleration plan. And that's going to include things like working on your listing presentation. That's going to include things like working on your pre-listing packet. That's going to include things all listing related so that you're a listing expert agent. Step 4 is being able to scale and replicate leads on demand, right? So what we want to do at that point is start to trade off some of our time back using tools, using technology, using investment, right? So that way we can continue to increase our business, continue to increase the results that we get without necessarily having to increase the amount of time that we spend. And step 5, I should say, is being able to put parts of your practice, your real estate practice, on autopilot. What this does is that frees you up, gives you freedom to invest more of your time, more of your energy in the things that you want to. And that might be in expanding your business. That might be in spending time with friends or family or traveling. That is entirely up to you. And so our club gives you training every single month. How do we achieve this 5-step career acceleration plan? It's by giving you training every single month. We talk about getting listings and doing listing appointments. We talk about marketing. We talk about social media. We talk about how to increase your effectiveness with tools and productivity. We give you marketing every single month. Like I had mentioned before, we're going to give you blog posts. We're going to give you marketing emails. We give you social media posts. Everything that you're going to need to market yourself, we provide you every single month. And again, like Teresa had shared about the marketing that we provide her with, she says, thanks, sent it out, received a listing appointment within 20 minutes of sending it out. And that's the type of results that we want you guys to have as well. In addition to getting marketing, in addition to getting training, we even give you a Google-friendly marketing website so that you always look good online. We automatically put a blog post there every single month for you so that it's always updated. You always look like an expert. There's even the ability to market listings if you choose and want to use it for marketing listings. And there are plenty of landing pages that you can use for lead generation. But if nothing else, it's just there as one more potential search result, one more way for you to look good online. And it's super easy to set up and doesn't require any maintenance. In addition, you're going to get through the Paperless agent and through our marketing club, you're going to have access to all of our tools through our resource library where you get tutorials, instructional videos, implementation plans. If there's a problem you need to solve or an opportunity you can be able to work on in your real estate practice, chances are we've got training, we've got tools to be able to assist you so that you can get it done a lot faster or to better equip you so that you have the skills and knowledge to do it at an expert level. You know, Teresa says that she says, you guys have made me a rock star. I've been in the business since 1992 and never had a plan I could faithfully follow that works. Can't thank you enough and love the new book. Todd says, I've been an agent for 20 years and nothing else compares to what you guys provide. If an agent can't use your resource to make it happen for them, they need to go do something else. And I just see a thing popped up on my screen here from Charles saying, my favorite parts of being a club member are the incredible content and information provided, and a lot of the work to communicate with my database is already provided. Helps me stay in touch. Absolutely. Thank you, Charles. Here's the deal. You guys would spend literally hundreds of dollars a month getting all of these things from different organizations. You know, to get marketing materials roughly at the level that we provide them with, a minimum of $100 a month. A marketing website, again, about $100 a month. Getting templates and training and ongoing resources, again, about $100 a month. But you can get all of this, including the bonus gifts that I talked about today, for only $67 a month. That's right. You heard that correctly. Only $67 a month gets you all of this and everything that you're going to need to be able to successfully implement that 2020 marketing calendar in the next year. You can easily cancel, hassle-free, no questions asked. There's no contract or commitment. So it's $67 a month. But if you get in there and you're unhappy, you can download all the stuff that you see, the templates that I'm sharing with you today as bonus gifts, and you could cancel. That's entirely up to you. I would hate to see you go, but I entirely understand that if it's not something that's for you, you should not stay in it. So there's no contract and there's no commitment. But here's the deal. If you sign up right now, I'm going to give you our Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan as an extra special bonus gift. You know, I talked a lot today about doing those short videos and doing them and spending $1 a day to promote those videos. And so we've got an implementation plan to help you accomplish that. So you can boost your presence to build word of mouth and position yourself as an expert for only on Facebook for only $1 a day. And that is an extra bonus gift that we've included for you guys when you sign up today. One last report from Tracy she says this resource, and she's referring to our club, is so chock full at the crazy best price. There's coaching and resources, no hidden fees. Invest in yourself in business now. Don't wait. Over my 8 years, wasted a lot of money elsewhere. My best investment to date. And so you can get all of these bonus gifts today: our property marketing plan templates, our professional dossier template, and the Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan when you join the club right now. Robert says the club is awesome. I'm a new agent and generate a consistent flow of leads versus other team members with years of experience. Robert, you just made my day. Thank you for sharing that with
I had to flag that, and I was about to tell you, Chris, you got to read this one, because that's like, I mean, you want to talk about a testimonial of service right there. I'm taking a screenshot of that, Robert, because I'm like, that is exactly what I'm talking about.
So with that, you guys can sign up right now. I encourage you to sign up to get these bonus gifts, right? You're going to want to get these bonus gifts, and you can do so. I think there should be like a turquoise button. There's also a link at the very top, at the top of the chat section. There should be a link that you can click onto that will take you to the order form. But get these things today. You're going to, I mean, what else? What are you going to do differently in 2020? That's the question I have for you. I mean, if you plan on selling more homes in the next 12 months than you did in the last 12 months, you already know you got to do something different. And I believe, of course, I'm biased because this is the club that we provide, but backed up by folks like Robert and so many of our members, where we know that if you'll do these things that we've talked about today, specifically these marketing activities that we talked about today, like that's all you need to do. For a long time, that's all you need to do is repeat those 5 steps and maybe enhance them, right? Enhance them, because Diane says, you're the answer. I'm coming back. Thank you. Again, Diane, you're making my day, making me all excited, because that means we had somebody who maybe took a break and is coming back. So it's great to have you back, Diane. But here's the thing.
It looks like here, Diane took a break in 2016, and she's back. Come on back, Diane. Let's get you prepped for 2020.
So here's the thing. I want you to be able to send that re-engagement letter out. I want you to be able to have the content to make it easy on yourself to do those 5 steps on a consistent basis. Heck, I want you to be able to market listings, use that property marketing plan. I want you to have a professional dossier that you can send out. I want you to be able to shoot and record those little short videos and promote them on Facebook for $1 a day. That's really all you need to do. People always get all like crazy about the things that you need to do. If you'll just have faith and execute them well, the 5 steps well, and maybe enhance it with some of the advanced strategies that we talked about today, you're going to have, like I said, if you only know 100 people and you get the 10 and you capture the 10 people who are going to move and the 2 referrals and recommendations that they were going to generate, so that's 30 people. That for if you're looking to add sales, like if you added, let's say you added 20 sales, would that be good for you this year? Like whatever you did last year and then add 20 sales, Gary, would that be good for us if we added 20 sales to what we did last year? I think it'd be good for everybody, right?
$7 a month. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
So I know that's the strategy that works. I think, someone had mentioned earlier, like, oh, isn't that what Brian Buffini suggests? Absolutely. But what we've done is we've updated it using today's tools and technologies, right? You've got to get good at using social media, and social media is not about posting anymore. It's about being able to create unique content, being able to shoot videos, being able to utilize the ad platform, right? That's why I included that as a bonus gift, the Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan. It also means getting out there and marketing real estate. You got to market listings. You got to market real estate. If you want to get listings, a bunch of you said you wanted listings, right? I thought 30 you said you wanted to get listings. If you want to get listings, you need to get recognized as a listing expert agent. How do you do that? You market real estate. People need, more than anything else when it comes to being a listing agent, and this is Gary's made it his focus for the last 20 some years on being a listing expert agent, is you must get recognized as a listing expert. Like, people need to think of you, and competence and you need to come hand in hand. Right? That's why the agent's reputation is so important to the seller. It's why they choose somebody new. They get recommended to somebody new 76% of the time, then work with us again if we got them into the home. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me, but
Lori says, I've listened to your webinars several times this year, and I think I could do this on my own. I didn't, though I just signed up. Exactly, Lori, because it's a pain in the butt to have to do all this stuff all the time. I'm telling you, what happens is, let me save you guys a bunch of like struggle and frustration, right? So you're gonna, like, here's the thing. I shared those 5 steps with you, and you in your heart, you already know that, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to do that. And I need to recommit to getting on track. The number one obstacle is having the stuff to send out, right? It's having the blog or the information. It's having the email. It's having the social media posts. It's having a script so you can shoot a video. It's knowing how to, be able to spend the $1 a day. It doesn't take, all you need to know is have a few things lined up, and literally for 3 hours a month, like 3 hours a month is not a lot of time to spend on marketing. Trust me. I spend a lot more time because I'm taking arrows in the back trying to figure out what to do for you guys, right? But
I think that's the beauty of it, Chris, is that we spend our time and money figuring out what actually works in our own real estate business. Like I can't even how much have we spent on Facebook ads in our companies?
Oh gosh, we're getting close to we're
Close
probably
to $1 million.
9. It's getting close to $1 million over 6 years. Yeah.
Almost $1 million. And so we're doing all of this to figure out what works for us. And then what we do is we just take all of this, turn it around, and we say, here's what works. Go do this. Don't do the other stuff that we did that didn't work. Go do this. Chris, I have a question from Killy. It says, does this include the monthly content blog posts?
Yep.
Yes, it does. Yeah. It's all in there. You get all of that, and it will automatically. So Killy, the great thing is that it will automatically post to the website that you get from being a member with us for free. And we also get you the content. So if you have a separate website you want to put that content on, you can just take it and put it there as well.
Yeah. In fact, I wanted to come back, Gary, to the 5-step career acceleration plan, because the website's actually a big part of it.
It is.
So what we want you to be able to do. Now, here's the thing. Today we've been talking about this 2020 marketing plan, this 2020 marketing calendar. And I know that you already see that, hey, if I join the club, I get everything I need to send out. Dunzo. All right. Let me show you where that fits in the 5-step career acceleration plan. It's actually step 2. So marketing to your base is implementing that calendar. We actually have a name for it. We call it the MVP, or the monthly value program. Why? Because every month you send out value. Monthly value program gets it, right? But here's the thing. That's actually step 2. What I would really like for you to do, and now's a great time of year to do this, guys. This is the time of year for you to start improving your online reputation, i.e. your online presence. And so what we do is we provide you with a website, right? We provide you with the social media accounts that you need to have set up, right? We want to be set up on LinkedIn. You want to have Facebook. You want to have Instagram. So online presence is the portal to your online reputation. So go Google. I mean, don't do this right now, but after you sign up, and then after you've asked your questions, and after we've hung out for a little bit, then go do this. But go Google yourself, and what you're going to find is that Google kicks out a bunch of results. And what you're going to do is start clicking on each one of those. And what I'm going to suggest is that as a consumer, me clicking on it, either one of two things are going to happen. Either trust is going to increase, or I'm going to question your competence, right? So if I have a hard time finding you altogether, that ain't good, right? Now, if I am able to find you and it looks like your website was last updated in 1982 before Al Gore created the internet, also not good for you, right? If they go on there and you're not don't have any kind of social media presence whatsoever, that's also going to be a ding. And so here's the thing. Google did a study, and they did the study a few years ago, so that numbers are even significantly higher. And they wanted to understand, what percent, how many people research their real estate agent online. And here's what they found. The overwhelming majority of people research their agent extensively online. Why? Because that's how we validate, and that's how they verify our reputation. Remember, we said sellers, the most important thing is the agent's reputation. Where do they validate their recommendation from their friend or family member or whoever that they knew? They go online and they search you. So step 1 is having a powerful online presence, because right now, you're probably losing opportunities before you even recognize that they were opportunities. They just never reached out to you. You just never knew that they existed. But once we have that in place, right, then we can start marketing to our base. And that's where we want to implement that 2020 marketing calendar that we shared with you guys today. And we're going to do that consistently. And remember, it only takes 5 steps to do it. You just got to do those 5 steps consistently every single month. And that's going to implement that part on marketing to your base. Remember what those 5 steps are? Publish useful real estate information, send an email out to everybody that you know, shoot, record and promote on $1 a day using a 1-minute video, post on social media, do individual messaging and contact using messaging apps, right? So we do those 5 steps. That implements marketing to your base. And what that's going to do is that's going to produce opportunities. And depending on if depending on the makeup, a bunch of them are going to be listing opportunities. And so you want to make sure you ace every listing appointment. Why do you want to ace every listing appointment? It's not so that you just get every listing. It's so that you get recognized and become known as that listing expert agent. And so we want you to get that recognition. We want people to see you as that listing expert agent. And that's what step 3 is all about. Then we get into scaling and replicating leads on demand. That's where we get into using more tools like Facebook, more tools like Google. And then step 5 is about putting your practice on autopilot so that you can spend more of the time that you want to do. And so, Gary, I know I kind of went on a bit of a tangent answering that one question about the website because it fit into step 1.
Yeah, sure did.
But I wanted to show everybody the context. Like this all fits together. It's not like we just didn't. It all fits together.
By the way, Chris,
world.
Yeah, and as you join the club today, here's the thing: is you get I don't even know how long our workbook is on the 5-step career acceleration plan, but you're going to get all of that plan. And
every day, just commit a little bit of time that you're going to spend working on your career. That's a fair exchange, right? You want to work on your career. I want you to work on your career. And so,
Chris, there's that difference of working on the business and in the business. And what we're doing right now is we're talking about working on your business to prepare for 2020, so you have the best year ever. And that's the whole focus of this, is really the preparation to execute on plan, get you the business that you deserve.
Hey, Gary, I see that, and I've seen this message come up a few times. People asking about, well, can we recommend a good CRM?
Well, so I actually have 2 questions there, Chris. Number one is Frank and someone else, Mike, both asked, is a CRM included in Paperless Agent Club? Or can you recommend a good one?
Yeah. No, we don't do CRM because there's too many firms doing too good of a job out there when it comes to CRM. The ones that we recommend, and we don't have just one that we recommend. We personally, in our real estate business, use a tool called RealVolve, RealVolve. I think. Did I spell that right, Gary?
You did.
Yeah. So we use RealVolve. A lot of clients, though, also recommend Top Producer and Lion Desk. Yep. Right. And so here's what I find for you guys who are asking is that there's no holy grail of CRM. Every CRM has like things you're going to like, and then there's going to be things that you don't like. You just want to use the one that you're most comfortable with using. And I think they have different features, but the end result is which one's most comfortable. And then there's going to be stuff that you don't like about it. That's been my experience. I have never found a CRM that like does exactly. Why? Because we all have different things that we want. And then like what I want from it versus what you want from it. And so, but those are the ones that we recommend. By the way, you don't need a CRM to do this. It makes it life easier, but you could start, if you don't have one, you could start with, a spreadsheet if you needed to. There's also some free tools that are out there as well. You can just, I think like, I wouldn't recommend them necessarily. I do have one that I am testing though, Gary. It's called Close, cloze.com. It's a free one that I've been playing around with to see if that's something we might want to recommend, but I wouldn't recommend it yet to you guys, but it is free. So, but RealVolve has been created specifically for real estate. Top Producer, obviously, that's been around for a while, and again, created specifically for real estate. And then Lion Desk also created specifically for real estate. And all of those, like I said, I would say that they're good, and our members also recommend them. I think I cultivated that list from our private Facebook group. So when you become a member, there's a private Facebook group. We've got lots and lots of members sharing their advice and their wisdom and many years of experience. And in there, and many of times we've asked people will go in there and be like, "Yo, what CRM do you like? What CRM do you like?" It's a very common question that comes up.
Yeah, it is.
And the response is always the same. RealVolve, Top Producer, Lion Desk. There usually will be like a few other ones, but when you look at the bulk of the responses, it's going to be one of those 3. And so I would be comfortable if you used any one of those 3.
Yeah. Well, the one that you use is the one that's best for you. Now we have a couple of very similar questions. Kyle and Tanganyika. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. The blogs that you give us, is it relevant to us no matter what state or country that we live in?
So if no matter what state, yes. If you live in Canada, we actually create a second version for you when we enter a topic that uses too many US sources. And so what do I mean by that? So remember when we talked about marketing through the 5 steps consistently, We're going to send out that useful information. So that useful information, in order for you to look like an expert, we have to reference lots of credible sources so that you look like an expert. Does that make sense? So in that blog post, when you go and scroll to the bottom, there's like little references that we've used. So there's statistics and studies that are referenced. And the reason why is because many of studies have found that if you like quote and source statistics and references, people think you're have more authority and credibility. So we put that in there for you so you look better. Sometimes usually it's going to work for the US, or it always works for the US. Sometimes though, if we're too US centric, it's not going to work for Canada. In those cases, we create a second version for our Canadian members, and that's the one that you would use. A good example would be, I think 2 or 3 times a year, we do a national housing market snapshot. And obviously, if you're in Canada, you don't want to send the one out for the US. But we only do that US housing, or we only do a housing one or a housing market one, like I want to say 2 or 3 times a year. I think it might be quarterly is what our goal is. And all the other times it's going to be just general to, the consumer, right? And the consumer is going to be pretty much the same for everybody here. It's the concerns that buyers have. It's the concerns that sellers have. It's the concerns that, homeowners have, or people who are interested in real estate investing. So yes, I believe it'll work for you. And there is no localization in the sense of, it only works in Texas or Florida or California. All
right. Chris, we've got so many questions here. I think we're going to have to do a few rapid fire.
Good question here from Jed. Jed says, does Google consider the same blog posts over multiple websites as spam? So what we do, Jed, is because you're going to own the domain. Like one of the steps in setting up your website is the domain. And so it'll be on your own domain. And if you ever heard of now I'm dropping the word, duplicate content, right? So if you've read anything online about duplicate content, what Google looks at is on your own websites, there are multiple reference points for pointing to the same article. And that's, we actually take care of all of that SEO. That's why it's Google friendly website that we provide and not a Google unfriendly one. And so you don't have to worry about having it because it's going to be, or having multiple people share that on the same site because it's on your own domain. And we do everything to make sure that it is Google compliant. Google friendly, I should say. Mary says, I'm a member, but can't find the 8-week marketing plan. Please message Emma and she'll be able to take care of you.
And then Kim just said, am I already a member? I don't see a payment, but I have a welcome letter. Kim, I just researched your email. You are not a member yet. So go click on that link over in the chat section or that blue link that says join club now and go join the club. We want to make sure that everybody here takes advantage of this and gets that property marketing plan template, which, by the way, I'm going to answer a question here in a second. The professional dossier template and the Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan. You're getting all of these as bonuses. Like they're just gifts from us to you when you join our club for $67 a day or $67 a month. Sorry. But I was thinking about that Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan and the other templates because we have so many questions here saying, can I customize and how easy is it to customize these templates that I'm downloading? And what I can say to you is you're going to get them in both Apple software, like in Pages or in Keynote or in Microsoft. So you can customize these as easily as downloading them, inputting your photos, your contact information, and bam, you're ready to go.
Deb asked the question, do you suggest a written and mailed reconnect letter to alert people that you'll be sending them information? I'm afraid email might go to junk mail or might be filtered out. Very good question. Yes, and yes. I mean, if you want, here's the thing. If all Gary and I did was send an email out to reconnect. But if we had more, we did it during the summer. So it was like, I think July or August that we sent it out. So it was a busy time here in Austin, right? If I had more time, like I was sending it out now to reconnect, I would do more than just send out an email, right? I would actually utilize as many of those 4 steps, right? So I would send out an email. You could definitely mail a letter and say, hey, make sure you go take a little screenshot. Make sure you subscribe, flag me as whitelist me, flag me as not spam. You can shoot a video and share that with everybody, saying, hey, I'm gonna commit to sharing good information with you, and you can post that onto Facebook and share it. So yes, and you can even message people saying, like, synthesize that and say, hey, I'm sorry I haven't been in touch. I really want to stay in touch. By the way, here's a link to my website that I recently updated. Right. So just, yes, you send that out in multiple ways, and that's okay. But if, for those of you who like email, so one of the ways, if you want, actually, let me give you one more tip, Deb. This is like a hassle to do it this way. But if you want to ensure people get the email, do custom messages for like 50 out of, do custom versions of the reconnect letter or the re-engagement letter and send from your actual email, not from like a email tool or from your CRM. Send it from your actual email, and Google will send everyone, or it'll get to every one of the recipients, because you'll be doing an individual one, as many of them as you can. So you might say at this time of year, hey, happy holidays, it's good to see you. Just do something personal and send from your personal email, and then do that engagement there, so people will know that it's coming. Another question that Jed said is, do I have to get a domain for my website? Yes, we want you to get your own domain for your website. We don't now, although we do have, you don't have to. We do have like a general URL for those who haven't set up their domain yet.
How cheap is it to get your own domain? It's like $3 a year or something like that.
A couple bucks a year, totally worth it. By the way,
give you step-by-step instruction on how to do it.
You're going to want to do it, because domain name. So when somebody searches you online, right? Let's say they're going to search Gary Kreth. Like if your name is in the URL, it's going to be like higher on the search results. Trust me. Like if your name that they're searching for is, and then the actual domain name, then that's how you get found on Google with your website. So I would highly encourage you to do that with your site, or that would be one thing that you could do with your site. So
Chris, Lori says, do you actually provide us the monthly content?
Yes, every month you get the content. The examples that I shared with you today were samples from the ones that we provide our members every month.
Yeah. And Angel Ortiz just said, I just joined. Welcome, Angel. Welcome to everybody else who has already joined today. I've just taken a look, and we've got a lot of emails showing that a lot of you are joining today. If you haven't taken the opportunity to do that yet, go click on that blue button as we get to our next questions. I want to make sure that everybody here gets all of those bonuses today, and you're getting it for just $67 a month when you join our club, and you get everything else that Chris talked about.
Now is the time to do it. You guys know.
Oh my goodness. Why is that, Chris? Why?
Dude, because check this out. Because this is the holiday season. What do people do? They get together. And what do? They talk when they're together. Anybody who's planning to move in 2020, and especially in the first half of 2020, what do you think they're talking about? Hey, we're thinking of moving. Oh, you're thinking of moving. Where do you think you're moving to? We're thinking of buying a place over here. Oh, how cool. Now, at that point, when that conversation's happening, you're either going to become top of mind or you won't. You're either going to be top of mind or you won't, because even though they might not be contacting you today, they're talking about it with everybody, because come January, come February, come March, that's when they're going to be making those decisions, and that's when they're going to be reaching out. So you want to be firmly planted right now. You want to be showing up right now, very strongly through now and through that first half of the year, so that you get every single one of those opportunities from your contacts and connections. So you get every one of those potential recommendations. Absolutely. Now's the time to do this. Do not wait. Don't wait till, I'm going to wait till the new year. Do this now, because it's going to take you, right? It's going to take you a day or two to figure this out. So do it today. What day is today? Today's Thursday. So you got today. You get yourself fired up. You work on getting this stuff out tomorrow. Get it out like tomorrow or Monday. And then take a few days off, because it's, Christmas for a lot of y'all. And so take that time off, then come back and do the rest of the stuff, and then take a few more days off for the New Year's, and then come back and hit it hard. But get your communications out there. You want to be top of mind. This is the time you need to be top of mind. Remember, what did I say? How do we achieve that awareness? You want people to think of you when they think of real estate. When they think of real estate, they would think of you. So do it.
Chris, it's something I heard from somebody. They said, I'm going to hold off and start sending out my emails at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, because, other agents who might send emails to your people, they're going to win the business from the people who you already know in the 2 weeks before you send out yours. So if you're cool with that. And she was like, no, okay, I'm sending it out. I said, okay, I'm just letting you know. By the way, Jed says, what's that?
I was gonna say early bird gets the worm here. Early bird gets the
indeed.
listing.
Jason says, thanks, guys. Just joined. Let's explore to see what the system will provide towards my business. Very small investment for a large potential ROI. That's the point. That's what I'm talking about. And Jed just said, I don't know where Jed saw this, Chris. Maybe you can enlighten me. He said, I saw an email for a 21-day goal acceleration program that is included.
Oh yeah. So
Did we tell them that already?
no, but I actually published a blog post Tuesday giving away the first day to people who are not members. And just letting everybody know that this is a thing that we're doing, and if they want, they should like join us. Here's what's special about you guys: you're getting these bonus gifts in addition to it. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the 21-day goal acceleration program, and this is, well, it's exactly what it sounds. It's 21 days of daily activities designed to help you set your goals, design your plans, and work on achieving them right now. So each day there's a brief lesson and a specific assignment, and then there's this workbook that you fill it all out. There's also a tool called the income multiplier that you'll utilize, and then there's accountability and support built into this program. And it's free for our members. Like, it's free. You guys are getting this. When you log in to your the member site, you're going to see a little card there that says 21-day goal acceleration program. And if you're doing business planning, or let's say you haven't done business planning yet for 2020 and you want to get started, it's in there for you. For some of you, that might be get your MVP out now and then go do that, right? Like, that'll be something cool for you to work on over the holidays. We use a very specific process for business planning. We do not take that traditional approach of, well, how much money do you need to make? And then kind of boil it down to how many phone calls do you have to make based on that. We don't do it that way. What we do is we have you go through a process that's more akin to what an executive planning process looks like, maybe more of like an sales executive planning process is going to look like, because the fact of the matter is you can't make assumptions about what's going to work. We need to assess where we've been. We need to design where we want to go, and then we have to substantiate the gap. Right. So there's where you are today and there's where you want to be. And then we've got to create plans, and we're going to have to create specific actions to take us from where we are to where we want to go. Because the fact of the matter is this: just because you say you want to sell 100 homes doesn't mean you will. Especially if you sold like 10 or 20 homes last year and you're hoping that just through sheer willpower and gumption and trying harder, you're going to sell 100 homes. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. You have to have a plan. You have to have specific skills and knowledge, and you have to buff out your operations to be able to get to that place. And so our 21-day goal acceleration program is designed to help you close the gap. And it's free for you guys. You get it as a member.
You get it as a gift when you join today. So go do that. If you haven't joined yet, go click on that link. I'm going to put a link in the chat section again in just a second as we answer Angel Ortiz's. Angel was one who he was one of the first ones who joined today.
He signed up, right?
Yeah, he signed up and he said, hey, I just joined. How can I get the information today? So here's what's going to happen, Angel, is you should receive an email from our system that as soon as you sign up, you should receive your login information. It shows you exactly what to do. If you don't see that email in your inbox, go check your spam folder. Sometimes, for whatever reason, email systems send them to spam. And then if you just can't find that email anywhere, email us, Angel, at support@thepaperlessagent.com, and our team is standing by to help you out. Joanna says, is there a help desk if we have questions? Basically, do you have support?
Yes, we do. And in fact, they're answering you guys right now. So if they're not answering your emails, it's because they're answering your chats, your questions. I wanted to answer Paul's question. Paul says, what if I need to upgrade my listing presentation? Paul, it's really interesting that you asked, because that is what we address in step 3 of the Career Acceleration Program. And so, yes, we've got tools. In fact, we've got Gary's 5. You go into the training library, which all of you will have access to as members. And check out the stuff that we've training and resources that we've provided on listing stuff. We've got Gary actually has his 5-step listing appointment, which includes the listing presentation part of it, and an easy way to upgrade your listing, your listing skills and get recognized as that listing expert agent in there, Paul. So definitely explore that. We have it on purpose, by design, as part of our 5 steps. We believe that in order for you to continue growing your real estate practice if you want to get to the place where you can, I mean, it's just a time issue. You can only spend so many hours in a week driving and showing buyers homes, but you can carry a lot more listings. And so that is a trade-off that you start to do over time, is make that adjustment and make that shift. Now, a lot of times people just try to will it. They're like, this year I'm going to, right, last year I had a 70-30, kind of ratio of buyers to sellers, or, 70% buyers, 30% sellers. And this year I want to get to like 50-50, or maybe even go the other direction. You don't just will that into place. You've got to use specific strategies. Now, the strategies that I shared with you today in the advanced section, like using a property marketing plan, using that professional dossier, marketing listings, creating video marketing listings, those are all ways that are specific to moving and adjusting the percentage of buyers to have a higher percentage of sellers. And we get into a lot of that. We get into like property marketing plans and like creating custom property marketing plans. And so definitely that is all stuff that's in the club, and it's part of this career acceleration program. And I highly encourage you, if that is a priority for you right now. You might be sitting here, and for those of you who said, I want to get more listings, well, in addition to working on getting the listing businesses, you need to work on having a distinct value proposition, which means, why should I hire you in the prospects and people's minds? Why should I hire you to sell my home? And when we design a good one, a competitive one, a distinct value proposition, we find more people wanting to work with us. And a lot of it is not just like from a marketing standpoint, it is what we do and say. We are either being listing expert agents, or we are not being them, if that makes sense. And a lot of that comes down to the listing presentation.
And boy, you know what, Chris? The customer, they see right through that. They absolutely see right through that. So Paul Wong says, wow, I love this comment. I got to read this. Wow, you got to be kidding. This is a no-brainer. Thanks, guys. It is, Paul. And I think that's the whole purpose here, is we want to make this a no-brainer. So anybody, whether you're a brand new agent, you're just hitting the crest in your 3 years, and you're like, I think I'm going to make it. Or if you're a seasoned agent like I am, you've been in it for 20 plus years, it doesn't matter where you are in your career. This is a no-brainer, and we make it so easy and so affordable that we just want to give this to everybody possible. And that's why it's $67 a month. That's why it's not $300 a month, even though, like, if you look at the value here, how much does this cost if you try and go get this elsewhere? $300, $400, $500 a month? Nah, forget that, man. Go join our club. It's $67 a month. You have the link. Go do it now as we get to the next question. So Chris, we've got a lot more questions here. Beirut says, as for clarification, how often do I need to do those 5 steps?
Every month. But just change.
How long does it take?
From talking to our members, about 3 hours after they get the hang of it, right? That's including the individual messaging and follow-up. So that's, you think about it, that's not a lot of time spending prospecting. I would say that, and even Gary, like in recent times, people would spend 2 hours a day, like a couple hours a day doing it. And what we're talking about,
I actually used to train people that you're looking at 3 to 4 hours a day doing this.
Yeah. And so what happens is, to go after the lion's share of the business. Remember, I showed you that pie chart and it showed the lion's share of the business. It really only takes a few hours a month. Now, you can expand what you're doing there, right? It takes 3 hours a month just to do those 5 steps as I've described them for the typical person, but you can greatly expand on what you do there. And what that means is that the more you get, so here's the thing. There's the 100% implementation, and then there's the 0% implementations, right? So here's implementing it really well, and then here's implementing it like not at all. And so if you don't implement at all, of course, you don't get any result. And if you implement in that 100% implementation, you get great result. What I find is that that's a spectrum, right? So when you first start, you like really get in there, and you might plant yourself somewhere in the middle. And that's going to be where you're at for a while, because this, I know it's easy. It's simple, but these are new skills and new practices and new habits that we're starting to take on. So what's going to happen is that you're going to be somewhere in the middle of the implementation. And my goal and Gary's goal is to encourage you to keep implementing more powerfully, because you will see an increase in the response that you get, i.e. the number of clients that you're working with, the greater the level of implementation. Let me just give you one example. In the 5 steps, remember step 3 was to do a 1-minute video. Well, I already know this. The first video that you're going to produce is not going to be great, but it's going to be good enough. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be good enough, because you're going to be standing out differently than anybody else. But if you want to get good on video, if you want to look more professional, if you want your videos to look more professional, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take about 2 weeks and you're going to make a video a day, right? You're going to take about 2 weeks, and you don't even have to share the videos, by the way. You're going to shoot a video a day, recording yourself using your phone, and you're just going to watch. You're going to watch it. You're going to shoot a video, and then you're going to watch it, and you're going to do that one video every day for about 2 weeks. At the end of that 2-week period, you're going to be way, way better. I mean, this is like essentially the Toastmasters model, right? You do it. You do a speech, and then you watch it, and then you cringe, and then you do it again, and you wash, rinse, repeat, and then you get better at it, right? And so here's the thing. The first video that you do, that you share, will be good enough. Trust me, it's good enough, because nobody's doing it. Then the video that you're going to do after a month or 2 is going to be way better. And the more polished your implementation, the higher degree of implementation that you do on those 5 steps that we've talked about today, the better the result you're going to get. Once you've done that, then, because it's only taking you 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe 5 hours for some of you per month, is that you might say, you know what? There's all these other marketing resources in there. I'm going to send out that property marketing plan. I'm going to send out that professional dossier. Oh, heck, you know what? I think I'm going to shoot a whole video series. You know what? I think maybe I'm going to enhance the blog post with a custom video that I'm going to put on top there, which our websites will allow you to do, right? Oh, heck, maybe I'm going to actually do some video email, right? So all of a sudden, right? So that email that we're sending out, maybe you do a video email. There's a free tool called Soapbox that you can use to do that. And so there are all these great tools out there, and we train you on how to use them to get a greater level of implementation. What happens is that instead of just getting, 10 or 15 of those, if you knew 100 people, remember I said 10 people are going to move and then they're going to get 2 recommendations. So instead of maybe getting 10 or 15 of those deals, you're getting like 20 or 25, or maybe you continue to increase that, or you increase the number of people that you could use these same tools to actually increase the number of people that so that there's more people moving and recommending you. And that's the mechanics of why this works, and why we're so adamant about doing those 5 steps and doing them every month.
Yeah, and Karen talks about these steps and the templates, and she says, do you provide the templates as to what to email regarding the posts? Absolutely, Karen. You're going to get the email template. Yeah, you're going to get the blog post. You're going to get the blog content. We even give you a script of dialogues of what to say to people when you talk to them, or text message them, or Facebook message them.
The video script.
Video script, you're getting all of it. And in fact, if you don't know what to say during video, well, we're going to give you a guideline of what to say. And if you're still nervous, heck, go to our own video site on YouTube and look at what we're saying and just copy what we say. We don't care. Just replace our names with your name. Just go do it. We want to arm you with absolutely everything that you need to build a thriving, sustainable, very profitable, and very fulfilling business for yourself. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we offer this for $67 a month. So, I mean, heck, just go look at it. And like Chris said, you can cancel at any time. You don't have to stay in it if you don't want to. That's cool. Oh, shoot. Somebody just said the offer just expired. Let me reset that offer there so everybody here gets that. We want to make sure that you actually get that. So let me reset that as we get to the next question, Chris. Jane says, how do you begin as a new agent? You wouldn't be sending a re-engagement letter. You know what, Chris? I would say that you can modify that re-engagement letter to be an introduction letter.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I just got my, here's the thing. We give you these templates because we know that's oftentimes the obstacle. I highly recommend you take those templates and modify them and make them all your own. Re-engagement letter, as much as you possibly can, customize it and make it your own. If you live in Austin, for example, put it like an Austin salutation in the messages that you send out. Like, hey, can you believe this weather we're having in Austin? Well, here's something I wanted to say. Right. So I highly encourage you to personalize it and make them your own. If you can read through those templates and then even restructure the language to sound like you, even better. Right. Mm-hmm. I would, my preference is that you restructure. Now, I know most of you won't do that, and that's okay. I'm just saying that's what I would love for you to do. Now, if you were a new agent, brand new agent, you're like, can I modify this? I'm going to, instead of re-engage, I'm just going to engage. And
Right.
that is perfectly acceptable. What you would do is say, hey, I'm very excited. As you know, in the last year, I got my real estate license, and I'm really excited about providing you guys value every single month in the form of real estate tips and advice and be able to answer your questions. And so every month, here's what you can expect from me, and provide that value delay, right? So what are we doing? In that case, you're not confessing, you're just excited, you're communicating your enthusiasm, and then you're going to give value like we talked about. And then of course you delay the offer. Don't ask for anything in return. And that's it. And that's just a simple modification to that. I think what you're going to find is templates are good ways to get started. And over time, a hidden agenda that I have is that you'll start to equip yourself with more marketing skills. That is my hope and intention for you. I know many of the problems that we experience in real estate is that we don't know how to communicate our value to people. We're really good at taking care of people. We're really good at communicating, but we're really not good at communicating our own value. And that's what marketing is. It's being able to communicate your value effectively. And so if I can, in a little way, encourage you to learn more about some of those marketing practices so that you can better communicate your value. And then I know you're going to have greater success. It's funny. I was talking to one of a friend of mine is one of the top selling agents in Arizona with HomeSmart. And he was explaining to me that even as a top selling agent, his biggest issue is communicating his value. Like, he's like, you know what, I really have a hard time doing that. I tend to fumble the words. And he said, the way I get around that is, instead of saying I or me, is I started using we. And I was like, you know what though, but what's your distinct value proposition? He was like, what are you talking about? Right. And here's the thing. Everybody can use some of these basic principles to improve their marketing skill, right? Improve their marketing skill and knowledge. Here's like the danger in real estate is that in real estate, we're responsible for getting our own customers. Because we're responsible for getting our own customers, how do you do that? It's called marketing. It's called sales and marketing. So in order to have people to be in sales conversations with, we need to do marketing to create a context for the conversation. Here's the problem. Just because you do marketing, you mean like, I sent email, I did this ad. It doesn't mean you did it well, right? Just because I checked the box doesn't mean it was done well or done effectively or done in a way that produces a result. That's the danger of marketing, is we don't know. We oftentimes think things don't work because we didn't do it well. It's not like, ironically, marketing is no different than engineering or medicine or anything else. Like, there's a whole body of knowledge that we have to pick up and learn to be effective at it. The difference is people just don't respond to our stuff. If we don't pick up the effective knowledge that we need as an engineer, people would die because the bridge would collapse, right? So in marketing, what happens is we don't get a response. But rather than realize and understand, oh, this is a skills and knowledge issue, we kind of look at the marketing and say, hey, that doesn't work. I'm going to tell you right now, almost every time I've talked to somebody, it's a skills and knowledge issue. And it's because we're picking up the wrong stuff. We're kind of getting rubbed off by the wrong things, right? People are telling us we need to have this and we need to have that app and so on and so forth. When you understand the marketing principles, you look at a tool like Facebook, like Instagram, like instant messaging, like email, like a website, and all of a sudden you understand, like, oh, this is all I need to do to make this work. That's why the 5 steps that I talked about work so well. It's because it's engaging these marketing principles. But I want you to be able to do more than just do the 5 things that I tell you to do. I would like for you to hear why these things work, so that over time you'll get better at communicating your value all the time, not just in your marketing that you do for lead generation, but then all of the communication that you have and everything that you touch, everything that goes out that's client facing that people see you'll get really good at communicating your value, because then I know you'll be a serious competitor to deal with in your own marketplace, right? Because you'll be good at communicating that value, which most people are not. Right? Most of us are not good at it, and you will be. And that's a very valuable skill to have. So I encourage you guys, not just to do what we're telling you to do today, but get into the training library, get into some of the programs that we have available for you so that you can get good at communicating your value.
Yeah, like Chris said, and if you haven't done that yet, Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Normally we're the ones asking or answering the questions, but I'm going to ask everybody here a question. We still have 204 people on our live broadcast right now, and if you haven't joined the club, I'm genuinely curious. Why is that? So, I'm curious if you haven't joined the club, let us know why that is, because I'd love to address that. So go to the chat section right now and just say, Gary, I haven't joined the club because whatever. Let us know as we get to the next question. Chris, a lot of people were asking earlier in the presentation. Carrie says you mentioned posting on Facebook. Do you use any other social media platforms? Somebody else said, Killy said, what other social media platforms should we be using? This was a common thread when you were talking about social media. So can you share with everybody, if you were to select one or two social media platforms for 2020, maybe three, what are you looking at as for where's my best return on investment going to be?
Yeah. So there's three. But one of them you only need to do and deal with like once a year. Okay. The other ones you need to deal with more frequently.
Once a year?
LinkedIn is the one that you only need to deal with once a year.
Okay.
So
okay.
LinkedIn, most of you, I don't know if you guys have LinkedIn profiles. The beauty of LinkedIn and having a LinkedIn profile is when somebody searches for you, LinkedIn shows up right off the top there. Most of us don't have a LinkedIn profile because we think of LinkedIn as a job site, and like, having resumes on a job site. Well, think of it as like, when a seller or when a buyer hires, they're hiring us to do a job, and having our resume on LinkedIn is a good thing because it will show up on the search results. It's a way to improve your online reputation, your online presence. You only have to deal with it once in a while. You do it once really well, and then you kind of minorly update it once a year, and that's fine. So we actually, in the training library, I think we have a member training that we did on the 10 steps to having an all-star status LinkedIn profile, which is a technical thing. All-star status is a technical thing in LinkedIn. And so that's one. But then you want to be on Facebook. And the reason why you want to be on Facebook is everybody's there, right? 2 billion people, everybody's there. And so, if you're going to learn a tool or if you're going to use a tool, Facebook is the one to use. But very important that you dive into that Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan, because we're going to talk more than just about spending $1 a day. We get into how to produce good organic content. Because the better the organic content, the lower the cost of advertising. That's why $1 a day works, is if you work with the Facebook algorithm, then you get greater distribution. And then when you put money behind it, you get even greater distribution, if that makes sense. And so Facebook, absolutely. And then Instagram is owned by Facebook, but also has 1 billion people using it regularly. And so after that, the numbers trail off pretty hard. Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, so on and so forth. It really trails off really, really low. You're talking, you're talking hundreds of millions instead of billions.
Yeah,
and
it's not worth it at that point.
Yeah, the beauty of Instagram is that it shares the same advertising platform with Facebook. So all you have to do is, you can post and share on both of those platforms, but you only need to learn how to use one advertising tool if you want to really get biggest bang for your buck. Unfortunately, with social media these days, there's only a couple of ways. There's two real distinct ways to use it. One is just as like a communication tool. So I'll use Facebook as a direct communication tool to communicate with specific people. Same thing with Instagram, a tool to communicate with specific people. It's not a really good publishing platform to grow your audience or to be able to have people just see you on a more regular basis. You really need to have the advertising platform to do that. Now, you can do that for as little as $1 a day, like I've shared with you today, provided you're sharing the right content. But it is like, that's the two different ways you use it. And the hopes of just sharing information and then people coming out of the woodwork to work with you that was kind of true a while back, but it's not been true for a long time, ever since they switched to an algorithm that is preference based. So in Instagram, in Facebook, what you see in your feeds and what you see there is all based off of an algorithm that looks at individual preferences of the viewer, of the user, and then feeds them information that they believe that we want to see based on historical, behavior that we have on the app. And now that it's gone to that level of, like complexity that we can't like hack it by saying, oh, well, just put this in there or just do that. There are some general things like video is good because it can't be replicated. Like people, if you do a video sharing advice and tips, there's not another you out there unless you have an identical twin who looks and sounds just like you and says the exact same thing. I take that back. I guess that could be the case, but maybe for everybody else, there's nobody out there who can look and sound and be you, and so that makes it unique, and that's what the algorithm loves. So those are the 3 social media platforms. In terms of priority, the way I would address them, if I would hit them like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. LinkedIn, because you have to deal with it once. Facebook, we give you content to post regularly. Instagram, we also provide you with posts to share on Instagram as well. Instagram and Facebook are ones where I'm like, actually, I should say Instagram, because I got Facebook pretty well covered. And I've got Instagram fairly well covered, but I actually am doubling, tripling down on my on my Instagram efforts in 2020. And so you guys, if you're members, you can expect to see more Instagram strategies showing up. We actually have a tremendous amount of stuff for Instagram already. But what I've been doing is working and learning and growing in Instagram myself to continue the results that we get from it. And the other thing is I'm trying to like synchronize what I do on Instagram and Facebook. One of the experts that I know has gotten a pretty good model of just using Instagram, but then having it replicated on Facebook. So he only has to do stuff for Instagram, and all the stuff is flowing to Facebook. And then he's got a little strategy in the background that it gets promoted in both. And so I like that time-saving device. There's also a lot of really cool tools for Instagram that are out there to make creative and innovative content there for the platform. So for me, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to, is getting more into it. But those are the 3 platforms. Is if you're going to do social media, which we talk about in that part 1 of the Career Acceleration Program, right? To build that powerful online presence: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Awesome. Yeah, that whole, as everybody gets into the program and you join the club and you go through that 21-day challenge, it's so powerful to see how you can prepare yourself for 2020. And it's not just about setting financial goals. No, it's about really getting down to the nitty gritty of concrete examples of what is it that I need to do in 2020 to achieve these goals that I'm setting for myself. So go sign up and you're going to get that as well. All right, let's get to some more questions here, Chris. Rebecca has an interesting question. Do you still send a re-engagement letter if you just sent out a holiday greeting card? Absolutely, because your holiday greeting card probably was not focused on real estate and offering them something of value, right? What would you say, Chris?
Yeah,
or would you wait? Would you wait?
That's 2 different. I mean, first off, I don't know if you sent off a holiday greeting card, assuming, I don't know what the frequency of what people check mail these days. It's not like the olden days where they checked it every day. They're going to get it between now and then, right? So I would say the holiday card is a good way, to build a personal connection is good. But what we're trying to build on is that awareness. Remember, when people think of real estate, they think of us. And then when they think of us, they think of real estate. The only way to accomplish that is for you on a regular basis to be communicating real estate related stuff. That is why step 1 of the 5 steps is to publish useful real estate information. And when you do that, you start to build the connection between you and real estate. And we want that now, not just, like if they get a greeting card from you, it really depends on when's the last time you communicated with them, right? So if they haven't heard from you in 5 years and they get a greeting card, they're probably like, who is this person again?
Right. Yeah.
But if they see that it's a real estate related communication, like, oh yeah, that's Gary, our realtor. That's right. That's Gary. So I would say send it out. You probably won't send it out today. It'll probably, by the time you get around to signing up and getting out there, maybe it's Monday. By the time that, it's okay to do now. And maybe you change the language a little bit. Here's a suggestion. Change the language to say, it's the time of year why I reflect and look at all the relationships and my contacts and connections. And it's when I really am reminded of how grateful I am for you guys. And I just want to recommit myself to staying in touch and providing you value on an ongoing basis. Here's my here's my recently updated blog where I talk about XYZ. And I hope you find this of value this holiday season. Love,
Yeah.
Gary.
Love, or you should insert your name, probably not my name, unless your name is Gary. Then that's fine. And Lori has a follow up to that. So would this work as a direct mail to a farm we already have engagement from, but haven't sent direct mail in the past few months? Why not? I mean,
I would do a
it can work.
modification. I would do a modification with direct
Mhm.
mail. So when we do direct mail, we still so direct mail is tricky, right? Because you have to, if you're going to do direct mail, you want to be able to find ways to measure response. So, as a marketing person, I want to understand that I just didn't blanket a neighborhood, and if I'm just waiting for a phone call for somebody to work with me, like that's not a good metric. That's not a good way to measure its success, because I don't know where to make the improvements. I also don't know where I can, like, how long I need to do this for before I start seeing a result. So a good direct mail marketing campaign. Let's say we're going to use a postcard, right? So if I were going to use a postcard, on one side, I'm going to talk about, like, you know, the distinct value proposition that we have in this neighborhood, right? I might talk a little bit about the results that we produce. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we provide value to our customers. I might showcase a listing that we've recently sold, right? And then on the other side of that card, though, I need to make some form of offer. I need to make an offer of help, because I want to be able to see how many people got this card, looked at it, and did something with it. And so I got to provide something of value. So you can pick and choose some of those campaigns. Like, we actually provide, you get all of the campaigns we've ever done that are still relevant when you become a member. We have what we call evergreen campaigns, which means you can use them at any time of year. So what I would do is say, hey, download my free report on how to get your home ready for sale, or download my free report on ways to increase my curb appeal, whatever, when you choose, create a landing page on our website and then direct them there, so you can see how many people are getting that mail and, like, interested. Now, some of them may fill out the form, some of them may not, but at least you'll have the website traffic to see what's happening and what's taking place. And that's a way for you to be able to improve your direct mail. A good direct mail principle is to always offer something that you can track the response, and then change the offer to see what responds best. So you might try the first time in your direct mail piece offering a free estimate on your home value or something like that, and maybe no one responds. So try something else the next time, right? Try the how to get my home ready for sale report, or you want to make multiple offers until you find the one that resonates with that particular audience. You might want to have you might offer something completely different, like, hey, I have a neighborhood home sales report that I put together, and if you want it, just let me know and I can furnish that information for you. You might want to have one that we've done is get access to our hidden housing market report, which is all of the homes that have fallen off the market that are hidden but still might want to sell their home, right? So there's lots of stuff like that. We've marketed. We're part of the which, actually, I'm curious, Gary, how this will pan out with that change with
with the Austin Luxury Network.
Yeah, and because we're members of the Austin Luxury Network, so it's a place you're not allowed to have the listing in the Austin Luxury Network and in the MLS. So we would say, hey, here's our off-market luxury listing report, because we're members of the Austin Luxury Network. They won't be allowed to do that. How's that going to work?
So I think what's going to happen, and this is speculation from a lot of people, is that the NAR program is probably going to be overturned, or at least modified. Like, it's way too blanket, and the local associations and state associations are not happy with it. So I think that that's going to be probably overturned. Angel Ortiz. Angel, our tech support is on this webinar right now. I have taken 3 different times to send you a private message here in chat with your username and your password. It is in there. It is right below what you just wrote. It's right there.
She's trying to get in contact with you as well, Angel.
Yeah, Angel, we got you hooked up. I went in there. I changed your password. You are totally set up. You just need to read the chat section. There's a private message sent directly to you with your username and password. It's there. It's been there for about 20 minutes. So you're all set. Next question I have for you, Chris. Deb said, so is this accelerated plan included in the $67?
The Goal Acceleration Program? Yes.
You bet.
That's something we created it for our members, and you being a new member will now have access to it.
Yep. And then last question I have for you, Chris, going back to Facebook ads from Michelle, the rules keep changing and I keep getting denied on all of my boosts. That's problem number one. What are we doing wrong?
Well, it is likely that you and me and all of us are considered a special ad category because we are, if you're either in housing, if you are in credit, or if you are in, what's the third one?
Lending, housing, or
Oh, uh, I think it's like recruiting, hiring,
yeah.
recruiting stuff. Anyway, we are what Facebook calls a special ad category, and you have to accept the terms. And the Boost Post feature is not set up currently to deal with those of us in the special ads category, which is why you're going to want to get into our program so you can see how to use Facebook. I actually dedicated a member training session on this very issue, on how to navigate the changes with Facebook and them requiring that we say that our ads are housing related and that we comply with certain terms. And so likely that is the issue. And you're going to want to get familiar with the Facebook Ads Manager tool, because that is that's how you have to, they want us using that tool if we're in the ads category, special ad category. And if you guys recall, not too long ago, there was a big lawsuit with HUD and a bunch of folks with Facebook over basically allowing, they basically made it to where we can't market to, we can't specify age, gender, or zip code, right? So that there's the potential for discrimination doesn't take place. And interestingly enough, I haven't used those specific Facebook targeting options in over a year now, like 2 years now. And it's because I have adapted and adopted the Facebook, like trying to work with the Facebook algorithm. And the Facebook algorithm is all preference based. It doesn't care what demographics you say. It's all about who wants your information. But you do have to have the techniques set up, meaning that I don't believe the Boost Post feature is going to work until you go into Ads Manager and start to accept some of those special terms and conditions and so on and so forth. You definitely want to do it. I will tell you this: if you don't comply with the special ads category, you could absolutely get restricted and revoked from the ability to use Facebook, and it is an ugly thing when it happens.
Let me ask you a follow-up to that, Chris. Let's say I had ads running for months now, and then they came out with these special ad categories. What happens to those ads that were set up before the special ad category restriction came in place?
So
do they shut them down, or do they say you got to do this?
So there's not been a consistent application of what Facebook has done. I've seen people where they left them run and then told them one day that their account's been shut down. I've seen it to where, here's what they say they're going to do. They say that if they're going to limit the number of people who can see it. I've yet to see that take place. I've seen it to where all of a sudden that ad campaign was just turned off on people.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I've learned from it is understand the policy and conform to them. Mm-hmm. It is a privilege, not a right, to use these tools. And as a privilege, we must know how they want us to work with them. It's having like a driver's license. That's a privilege, not a right. And in order to do it, you gotta obey the rules of the road. And same thing with using any digital advertising platform, is that you have to know what the rules of the road are so that you can do so without inadvertently discriminating against people, without inadvertently doing the wrong thing and inadvertently hurting, putting stuff that shouldn't be out there. And that's where, I had talked about acquiring the skill in marketing. One of those skills is to get just a basic understanding of, how does Facebook work? How do I work with this tool that's very powerful?
Right.
I try to minimize the amount that people need to do. That's why we do like Facebook and use it for lead generation, but that's not part of the 5 steps you noticed. I have a very simple method of, hey, 1-minute videos and promoting those videos, as opposed to trying to do like, hey, here's an order for here's something to download. Like, I don't try to replicate what Zillow's doing I wouldn't suggest that you try to replicate what Zillow or those other folks are doing on Facebook, because we have something unique that they don't. We have us. We have our likeness. We can produce videos, and it is a way for us to stand out. Rather than try and compete with gorillas on the same battlefield, I prefer the the guerrilla approach, the guerrilla marketing approach, which is what you find with our strategies. A lot of them is, how do I get a greater return without spending as much money, or just, maybe using a little bit of innovation to be able to accomplish the result.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Chris, I got to tell you, man, we've been here for 2 hours and 6 minutes. I think, is that a record?
I don't know, Gary.
I think that might be a record so far. But I did want to let everybody. What's that?
As I say, this is the last presentation you and I get to give, I think, this year.
That is
so. It's like we're having fun, and it's about to. 2020 is, it's only like 2 weeks away or something like that.
It is, man. And so, if you want to set up your 2020 with our goal acceleration program, and you want to get set up with this property marketing plan template, the professional dossier template, and the Facebook on $1 a day implementation plan, where Chris shows you how, so many people get so confused. It's like, how in the world do you spend only $1 a day on Facebook? Well, you got to get into Chris's $1 a day implementation plan. It's like the easiest, cheapest way to get to launch yourself out into Facebook. And he has a great strategy there for it. And you're getting all of that when you join our program for $67 a month. So here's what I'd like to say, is that as we close out 2019, as we close out our last presentation of the year for you, go over there, click on that Join Club Now button, and get started today. If you haven't done that yet, do yourself a favor, do your business a favor, and get started with that right now. Because, and by the way, when you join, we also need you to go join the private Facebook group. It's a huge community of like-minded real estate professionals across North America who are operating under the same premise that you are, of delivering exceptional service and building a business that you're really proud of owning. So go do that right now. And then also, when you do that, go join our private Facebook group as well.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for so long. I see that we've been here 2 hours, and there's still a couple hundred of you guys on. And I wanted to say thank you for listening to Gary as he shared all this information and droned on for many, many hours. And so we want to say thank you guys for putting up with him. We're really excited to have you as new members of our club. We can't wait to work with you in 2020. I mean, heck, we're excited to work with you just now, getting into 2020. And with that, Gary, I think we ought to sign off, let everybody get to work now, get their MVPs out, get that Mark 5 steps done, get started on their 21-day goal acceleration program so they can have a better 2020. And we'll see you guys on our next training, which I believe our next member training is going to be the second Wednesday of January. Actually, the first office hours is going to be on January 6th for that goal acceleration program. So anyway, we'll see you guys in January on one of the member trainings, but we'll see you in between now and then in the private Facebook group. Take care, guys. Take care, Gary. Thank you.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Take care. Bye.